Hey guys, and welcome in this tutorial. Today we're gonna build an autocomplete component using React and Tailwind. The end result would be this. We have a country name here. If I start inputting anything, then it's gonna suggest me country names. If I click on anything using the mouse, it's gonna take it. If, for example, I don't click, but I'm using my own keyboard, then whatever I hit enter on, it's gonna take it. But also if there is no suggestions, then it's gonna give me no suggestions on this. So we're gonna develop this from scratch. The reason for me is to use Tailwind is that I didn't find resources online that are using Tailwind with autocomplete actually. I found other things that are using other CSS components that are like paid. This one is totally free and nice, I guess. So let's start. So as I said, we're gonna use Tailwind CSS. If you go to tailwindcss.com main page, then you have a quick search here. If I put Control K, then I have to search for something. For example, if I put grid template columns, then I'll have the syntax that I can use in Tailwind to like have the grids, and there are a lot of suggestions and examples in their website. You can search for anything about the sizing, about anything else, the text color and everything. And also in this code is really easy, but for example, if like while we are using React, then we can put a class name tag and then we put anything inside, then it works. So yeah, let's start by creating a new React project. If you open a new window in Visual Code, then go to Terminal, New Terminal, then here choose the folder that you're gonna use. So now I am on my desktop, and if I wanna create a new project here, I'll use the React template. So it's gonna be npx create React app, and then I'll give it a name. It's gonna be Autocomplete. If I go to my desktop, I would find this autocomplete folder, but from here I'm gonna open folder and then going to my desktop, autocomplete, and here we are. So first of all, I'll delete everything that is in my app source folder. So from here in our source folder, we're gonna add some files that we're gonna need. App.js, and also we're gonna add the index.js. We're gonna add the CSS, index.css. The component that we need to add, so it's gonna be like autocomplete.jsx. And since we are using a list of countries, I prefer to put it in different file. So it's gonna be like countries list.jsx. So yeah, this is it. Those are the files that we're gonna use. So we're gonna start adding some code on it. If I go to the index.js, I should add code here to launch the application. So we're gonna import React from React, import the app from app. For the countries list, you can find many. There are many lists out there online if you search for it, and then you have just to make it to be like an array, and yeah, you export it just like I'm doing here. So I have all the list and I'm exporting it. Then we're gonna use it later in our component. To use Tailwind, I think you can go, if you do any search, wait. Here, if you go and say install Tailwind in React, and then it's very easy. So here they are creating the project, and npm install Tailwind CSS in it, and then configure your template path, add the new path to all your template file in your file, and then yeah, it's easy. So we're gonna do it now. I'll put it aside. So first of all, we're gonna install Tailwind in our application. So here, install Tailwind. Yeah, and then after that it says init Tailwind, and it says, and then run init command to generate the Tailwind config.js file. So if I put the init, then it should generate a file here. Okay, this is the one. And then it says configure your template path, add the path to all your templates file in your Tailwind config.js file. So probably in my config here, there is something called content, this one, and here we should add this thing here. Boom. Okay, still from their documentation, it says also, I'll say this, it says in the index.css, I should add the attributes here, like this. Add to each layer to your this, okay, and then it says npm run start, and that's it. So I will not start it for now because I will add more other things. I will just say that. Yeah, but that's it for Tailwind. Basically, you can use Tailwind like directly now. Now, going back to our app, first of all, we should import the countries list. And then in order to store our data, we need a use state component. So it's a const countries data, set countries data, use state. So inside use state, I will create an ID and a name. For now, we will not use the ID, we will use only the name. But for later, whenever we have a database, we should have an ID. It's also best practice to have an ID all the time, since it's a list. Then, yeah, what we should return here, we should return a form. And in this form, we should have a div that is a container. If you go to Tailwind, you're gonna find the container mx auto. So container is a container in Tailwind, and it represents this container from here to here. And depending to the size of the screen, we can put anything here, but here auto means that it can take whatever the size of the screen. And then after container, we should have this like big header in the top. So it's another div with a class name of a text size. Also, you can check in Tailwind website what is the size that you can use here, but I'll use this one. And then front extra bold, text color is black, and the padding Y, which is the padding high, is like 20. Inside it, I'll create the header. And here I would say React Autocomplete with Tailwind CSS. So this is the header. Then after the header, we should have a grid for the component label, component drop-down list, and then a text box that is just for reference for now. We can remove it later, but it's just a text box that would display any data that we have chosen. So here I would say also class name. It's a grid, and it has grid columns of 5. Of class name flex call, and this would have only an input. And the value of this input is countries data dot name. The one is the one in the use state up. Yeah, so that's it. So now going to the autocomplete component, it's still empty. So what should we have in this autocomplete component? We have suggestions. This is the input that the user will like suggest, a placeholder, a value, and don't change method. Actually, we start by importing React component. From React. And then also we need the props type, which is like a library that helps to get the props. Prop types from prop types. And for this, for prop types, I guess we should install it. So here in the bottom, we should say npm install prop types. So now The class that we're gonna use is called Autocomplete, of course. Extends component. And inside it we should receive the prop types that we need. So static prop types, sorry, and then, as I said before, I'll just copy paste now, but we have 4 prop types that we need. Suggestions, placeholder, and value, and on change method. Those prop types, they have initiator, and it's like it has empty values all the time. Okay, and then I should put constructor. Props super props. And those props, they should have a state. So the state of them is empty at the beginning. Right, active suggestion is 0, and so on and so on. We will have also 3 handlers here, and we need a handler for on change, on click, and on key down. So under constructor we have on click, take the handler, boom, boom, boom. And then we have on change, and on key down. Okay, those are the handlers that we have. And now we should have also the render function. So the render is boom. Okay, and now here we should return something as like component, and probably we have suggested list, so it's a suggestions list component. What is this? We have a React fragment here. And in this fragment, as I said, there is an input. And after the input, there is the suggestions list, which is this one. Okay. The input is actually doing everything that is interacting with like the upper component, which is the autocomplete component. The type is text. onChange, it's gonna hit the onChange method that we just created up. onKeyDown, it's gonna hit the onKeyDown. The value, I will keep it for later. Class name, the easiest stuff here. It's a form input. Also, you can check Tailwind for that. And the width is full. Okay, placeholder is actually the placeholder value. And that's it. For the value, it's gonna be the user input. Or the value. So it means that the value, it's gonna be the user input, whatever the user is sending from the parent itself. And if the user input is empty, then it's gonna take the value, which is the value that the user inputted in the text box. So user input and value, if we go back here, wait, okay. So if I click here, this is a user input. And if, for example, I put anything, okay, this is a value. So whenever the user input is empty, you can take the value. You can save now. And now we're gonna think about those handlers. What do they have and how they gonna react. So let's start by onChange. I'll put it on the top. Okay. Save. And onChange, what do we have onChange? We have a suggestion and we have user input. Okay. And whenever the user input is like changing in the text there, then there are other suggestions that they are changing based on the filtration that exists between the list that we have and the text box that we have. I'll paste this code and we're gonna talk about it now. So we have the suggestions that comes from the parent, and we have a user input that is taking any data that you are inputting in the text box. And then there is a filtration, and the filtration would go to the list that we have and would filter the data that is related. And then it's gonna render it here in the state. Okay, that's it for the onChange. Then we have onClick. So whenever we click, it's gonna take whatever we clicked on to be in the text box, but it's gonna close the drop-down suggestion drop-down that is in the bottom. So this is all what we have in the onClick. onClick, it's just gonna take the text, put it in the user input value, and that's it. onKeyDown, there are many things to think about. So because onKeyDown is related to the keyboard that we have and what type of key we just hit it. So onKeyDown we have this. If user pressed enter key, which is number 13, then we're gonna do something really similar to what we did in the onClick. If, for example, we pressed the up arrow, this means it's gonna go up in the suggestion list. If we press down arrow, we go down in the list. And under the suggestion list components, we will put an if. And it says that if there are showed suggestions and the user input, the user has inputted anything in the text box, then we can do stuff. And the stuff is this: if filtered suggestions has anything, then suggestions list component, okay, I'll open a parenthesis, boom, boom, and then here we have a list, okay, and else we have something here which says that suggestion list component has no suggestion since there is no input. Okay. Of course, in the end, export default up. So let's run this project and see what we have. This is the first run actually. npm start. And if I try something, it works, but there is something in the design. Also, we don't have the label here. I think I forgot it. And I have it here. So back to the code, autocomplete, then this is the title, this is the div. I guess here there should be a label. Okay, country name, save. Country name. Oops. So again, I found something missing in the React place. Flex column here, and then all the autocomplete should be inside so that it doesn't push the other components down. Probably it's resolved now. Yeah, and this should display here. So the other problem is that this div was not inside the grid, and that's why there was problem, I guess. It's saved now. If I try something, yeah, it's here. Okay.